Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another episode of Conversations with Chris and Cameron. It's episode 52. I hope you all are having a great night, great weekend, everybody. But this is Chris Beesmore,
And Cameron Waddle.
and we're going to be mainly talking about UK versus South Carolina. Of course, UK got the win against them on Tuesday night. It was a much needed win because, UK was on a three-game losing streak. They defeated South Carolina 72 to 63, and then we'll talk a little bit about Vanderbilt as well, and then maybe talk a little bit about UK football since it's been a little bit. Seneca Driver, who is a UK target in football, he had a crazy poster dunk tonight, of course. Boulder County lost to Danville Christian Academy tonight, but we'll talk a little bit maybe about football and other sports, Miami of Ohio basketball as well. But let's get into it. Like I said, UK defeated South Carolina 72 to 63. They really needed that win on Tuesday night, riding a three-game losing streak, and nobody imagined that. Like everybody was expecting at least for UK to defeat Georgia. They did not, and then of course they lost to Auburn on the road. So three-game losing streak, much needed win, and like I couldn't believe it. Another game where Colin Chandler had to hit another clutch three for UK to win, and he's been on a roll all year. Like ever since that LSU game where he had to throw that Hail Mary pass to Malachi Marino, and Marino made the game winner. But since that LSU game, he's been basically clutch in every game other than that Auburn game. Like take that game out, he's been great though.
Yeah, for sure. Colin's been awesome. And the one thing I did notice on that, as soon as I watched it back, because I unfortunately was not able to watch it live, I watched the full thing after. But the first thing I noticed on that three was the man, the myth, the legend, Walker Horn standing up immediately with
No.
the three guns out or whatever. He didn't even look at the rim. Not once did he glance over the rim. He just knew it was buckets because that's what Colin's done. Um, but yeah, he did it again. He stepped up big time, and he just continues to be that dude. I mean, it was a game that scoring was not necessarily like a common theme across I mean the entire game 72-63. But he gets to a 10-point mark, scores double digits, and
Mhm.
scored him in some big ways. We obviously needed that last three to be
Yeah.
able to kind of get out of there with a I would say remotely comfortable win once it was
Yeah.
all said and done. So shout out to Colin. He continues to do his thing.
Yeah, shout out to Colin Chandler for sure. He only had 10 points against South Carolina, but he went 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 4 from the 3-point line, so 50% from there. He also added 2 rebounds, 3 assists for the game, and then he was also a +5. I think another thing that stands out to me for the whole team is everybody was actually, in the plus minus category, a plus other than Andrea Jelovich. He was a -8 and he played 17 minutes, but everybody else, was a plus on the team. And that's surprising because Otega away struggled for Kentucky. He only had 8 points. He didn't get to double digits. He went 3 for 13, but he was still a +3 while playing.
Yeah, for Owe, like you mentioned, I mean it's been rarity to be able to like have a bad Owe, but then have a bad Owe with a win has been
Yeah.
incredible. But yeah, Yelovich, it's weird because like oh, I mean we've talked about it, box score plus minus doesn't tell everything, doesn't
Yeah.
tell the full story, but it's a pretty good indicator of just how a player impacted the game, just kind of like looking at it by a quick glance to see how a player impacted it. And he's had some games where he'll be in a loss, one of the guys that's positive, or even in a
Yeah.
win, he'll be a positive like 10 or something. Like he'll be a
Mhm.
big impact. But then you go to this one, it's like I don't know what the deal was here.
Yeah.
And obviously if you're just a box score watcher, you can look and say like, hey, he's one of four guys that hit double digits. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Then you see the -8. It's just kind of not great. But I feel like he had a lot of good looks at
Yeah.
three throughout. Didn't knock those down. He didn't. I don't know. It just felt like he was kind of out there and going through the motions in a way. Which,
Mhm.
I mean, credit to him. You can go through the motions, score 11 points in a road SEC game. It's pretty good. But yeah, I just felt like he never could get like the full feel for it. Like I don't know what it was, but yeah. I mean, we need Yelovich big time coming down the stretch because. I mean, Diabate was awesome in it, but Yelovich is kind of the counterpart to that, where one of
Yeah.
those two guys is just going to have to show up for us each and every game.
Yeah, and I was surprised because, I was reading other articles about the game and everything, just trying to see what other people were saying. And of course, Nick Roush had his own article, and he said over a 17-minute stretch, Andrei Yelovich was one of only two players to make a shot for the Wildcats, and then that stretch ended when he was sent to the bench. He did not return for the final 14 minutes of the game, and of course, everybody was surprised by that because, Andrei Yelovich was scoring for Kentucky, of course. Who replaced him was Mo Diabate, who had an insanely great game for Kentucky. We really needed Mo Diabate to step up. Ramadan Mo, as everybody's calling him because, Ramadan is going on, but Mo Diabate had 12 points, 5 for 10 from the field. And then he also had, I believe, 4 rebounds. Yeah, 4 rebounds as well, one block and one steal. And Mo Diabate really stepped up for Kentucky.
Yeah, he was incredible, especially in that second half. He was like a sure thing when it came to getting a bucket there late. So his physicality kind of shined through, and it was physicality that just South Carolina, frankly, could not keep up with, and
Mhm.
that they could not handle. So, I mean, he was very, very important, especially in
Yeah,
that second half. Like I mentioned, like the plus 16 is pretty nice to see. But you could just kind of see it very obviously if you just kind of watch the game. So yeah, Modi was awesome. He was
yeah,
incredible. And obviously, like we talked about, at times the Yelovich wasn't great, or
yeah,
or he'd get subbed out for something, but then Modi would come in and provide some really good minutes for us. So yeah, Ramadan Mo is in full effect.
yeah. And
I don't
I
know
thought,
how all that's going to go. I don't remember who it was. Somebody on NC State 2 years ago when they went to the Final Four. They had somebody that was, like taking part in Ramadan and all that, and they had somebody, but he played really, really well during
yeah,
that time frame. So it's like I don't know if it impacts positively, negatively, or if
yeah.
it's just the same player. But yeah, BBN's obviously having some fun trying to come up with like a nickname during this time.
Yeah, of course, it depends on when, UK plays or whenever he was at Alabama. It depends. But he actually did post a TikTok. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Matt Jones tweeted out. I saw the TikTok from Matt Jones, but he tweeted basically Mo Diabate was just showing what Ramadan was like, and that was during the like Auburn game, like the pregame, what was going on before that, how he was able to just have a big breakfast. Like he ate so much during breakfast because you can't eat from sunrise to sunset. So I think he said that he ate at like 5:30 in the morning, I believe it was. I can't remember exactly. And then, of course, he was able to eat before the game. He was eating on the team bus before they got into the locker room before the Auburn game and all that. But he was showing what it was like to be a college athlete and have to do Ramadan. So I thought that was a cool video. If y'all haven't checked it out, check out Mo Diabate's TikTok, of course.
Yeah, I see it here now. Yeah, it's 4 something in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, big breakfast. Uh, Looks like McDonald's maybe. Little hearty
McDonald's.
breakfast right there.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, that is cool. I did not see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing him kind of post about that, because I mean that's the stuff that you don't get to see a whole lot. So uh, yeah, that's good stuff. But
Yeah.
it is crazy. It's just wild to think about like what that, because I was thinking about that during I think it was Saturday where I was like, man, how's he gonna play? Like, I feel like he's gonna have to go all this. But then I was thinking like, oh well, before tip, he can also eat, I believe. So
Yeah.
I don't know how it ended up being in this, but it because it got sunset and everything. So, but
Mhm.
now I mean with the upcoming game, it'll be midday, so maybe the big breakfast will carry over. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, no credit to him though. I mean, it's got to be a little challenging as a high level athlete going through
Yep.
a season of fasting like that. It's got to be tough on him, but
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
he's keeping his faith, and yeah, good
Yeah.
on him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and something else that I found interesting or cool, and then we can actually get back to talking about Kentucky basketball is I didn't know that, they play 5 times a day as well. So I found that interesting as well.
Wait, the team?
Not the team, no,
Oh, I was about to
yeah.
say.
Yeah, no,
Oh, okay.
5 times a day would be a lot for the team to
I
play.
was about to say like I like that, but I did not know they like could kind of force that on a team.
No,
I was just confused for that. I was like, hold on.
no. Yeah.
So
So
with Ramadan, it's fasting and you pray 5 times a day.
no, I think they overall play 5 times a day. Like no matter like even if you're fasting
Oh,
or
okay.
not. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. The
Interesting.
more you know, but I was looking into it. So it started. we're filming on Friday, February 27th. So it started 10 days ago. It started on Tuesday, February 17th, and ends Thursday, March 19th. So it'll end basically right whenever the first round starts for the NCAA tournament. So I guess that's good for Kentucky because, he doesn't have to worry about fasting, with the NCAA tournament happening and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it follows the crescent moon sighting on February 17th, and
Yeah.
then yeah, in March 19th. Yeah, huh? That's interesting. I
Yeah.
honestly like it's a bad on my part. I've honestly never really known anything about it other than the fact of that dude at NC State a couple years ago. I can't remember his name,
Mhm.
but yeah, that he was participating in Ramadan. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I'm glad Mo shared that. Just kind of
Yeah.
showed the fan base what
Yeah.
what's going on behind the scenes for him.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I thought it was interesting. If Matt Jones probably didn't tweet that out, I probably wouldn't have seen Mo Diabate's TikTok. But like I said, if y'all haven't checked that out, definitely you should just to see, his religion and what it's all about. But let's start talking more about Kentucky. We'll continue to talk about South Carolina a little bit more, and then we'll transition to talk about Vandy. Of course, UK already lost to them, but I want to talk about Denzel Aberdeen. He's been really stepping up for Kentucky. He really helped Kentucky to get back into that game against Auburn. UK, of course, was down six against them. He made that three to get it down to 3 points. Sadly, of course, UK didn't win against Auburn, but he stepped up against South Carolina. Aberdeen had 19 points on 6 of 12 shooting, 4 for 6 from the 3-point line. And if he can continue to hit from the 3-point line, I believe UK will be fine. He also grabbed 4 rebounds. He also had 5 assists and 0 turnovers. And I think that's what really sticks out to me. He continues to, have a lot of assists, whether it be 4, 5, or 6 assists, and he's not turning the ball over. And he was also plus 11 too.
Yeah, that's been amazing for him just as a guard, kind of leading this team. The you mentioned the 5 assists to 0 turnovers. I don't know what it's been overall. I need to check that, but he's kind of had that type of run recently in these games where he hasn't really turned it over much. Like
Yeah,
he had yeah, so he had 5 assists, 0 turnovers, 3-1, 4-0, 4-2. But then like yeah, prior to that it was like 3-0. He's had a
yeah,
couple with one. Like he's just kind of taking care of the ball, kind of in the midst of where the team overall is not doing it.
yeah,
Because I mean, this game, 15 to 15, assist to turnover ratio, and like that, those always stick out to me because I remember as soon as Cody Seeger started tweeting out the boom tweets, I turned on his post notifications.
yeah.
Then he doesn't really tweet much during the season other than after a win. Especially
Mhm.
last year, he'd do it a couple of times this year too, where he would tweet out the assist to turnover ratio because that's
Yeah,
obviously a very key part of it. And he has not been tweeting that out even in wins because 15 to 15 is pretty bad.
yeah,
So that's going to be a big time, I feel like, focal point. Just like
mhm,
Jasper came and had three, Owe had three,
yeah,
Malik had three, Yelovich had three. Like you got to be able to limit those to
yeah,
one turnover, maybe two. And Aberdeen, I mean, you mentioned the 19 points. He's been
yeah.
absolutely phenomenal. He tried to like wheel and deal us back into the game
Mhm.
against Auburn, like you mentioned, and then
Yeah,
this one, like you said, the 3 for 4 from the line from the 3 point run line, like it was. That's just the positivity that kind of like I think can create some optimism going forward, like throughout the rest of the season. Like
yeah,
as we get down this stretch right here, if you're a guy that can do that and also not turn it over, like dish it out a little bit, like we get beat by like 10 in that game without a good DA. I feel like I mean
yeah,
he was spectacular.
yeah,
So big credit to him, but he's been overall. I think he said in the media this week like he can feel like this team is like rounding into form or something.
yeah.
I mean he certainly is. It,
Mhm.
it just kind of depends if the team is going to be
Yeah.
following.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I really think like as long as the three guards can step up with Denzel Aberdeen, Otega Away, and Colin Chandler, like UK could make it to the second weekend, whether it be, the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight. Like I believe, all three can step up any given game. It will just come down to, UK's big men because, we need them to step up, whether it be Andrea Yelovich, Brandon Garrison, Malachi Marino. Mo Diabate, whoever it might be, like we need at least one, maybe two of the big men to step up for Kentucky because who knows if Jaden Quaintance even returns for Kentucky at this point.
Yeah, certainly does not feel like it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the longer that you play without these guys, it's going to be helpful in a way, because they're just gonna have to kind of learn to fill these roles. So, I mean, that's been something with Da. He's kind of just learned to be this main guard, and
Yeah,
but yeah, everybody's gonna have to kind of step up because like you said, Jaden Quayn's. I mean, I think we're both kind of in the same boat. He's probably not coming back. We can just kind of accept that at this point. And obviously Lowe's not coming back, but the Cam situation's weird. But like they're
maybe.
just gonna have to figure it out, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and of course we can talk about Cam Williams in a little bit, but yeah, like I said, it'll just be interesting to see because, like I said, I feel confident that all three guards can step up for Kentucky, whether it be DA, Oway, or Chandler. Like I have, the utmost confidence, other than the Auburn game with Colin Chandler. Like I feel confident in all the guards to step up. It just depends on who will be the big man to step up for Kentucky in any given situation.
Yeah, for sure. And the one thing that like really gets me excited is like so Denzel's kind of figuring it out, being kind of put into this like point guard role for good. Like and I think it was Rob Dawes who talked about that on Field 68 one time where he said like um that with Jalen Lowe like being out to start the year and then he comes back and then he's out and then he's
Yeah,
back and then like Denzel can never really figure out what he is for this
yeah,
team. Like he's just gonna in a tough spot. Like I don't like he didn't know what to do. And now it's like, all right, Jalen Lowe's out. You're the star. You're gonna have the ball in your
yeah,
hands. You're gonna be able to help run this team and stuff. And I think like just the longer it goes, the more familiar he's gonna get with it, and he's just gonna keep going. But Colin Chandler excites me because we've obviously talked about his clutch moments.
yeah,
He's clutch every single game. There's going to be situations like that, whether it's in the SEC tournament or NCAA tournament, whatever it may be, where he's able to do that. And I mean, we've seen Oway do it. I mean, they were both against Oklahoma, but he's also had that clutch gene. Like
yeah,
those three right there, I think can will you to a couple wins.
yeah,
Like just those three alone, like you said, the second weekend, whether it's Sweet 16, Elite Eight,
yeah,
whatever it is, I feel like that trio can kind of take you
yeah.
pretty far compared to some backcourts in the country.
Yeah, honestly, like if you could tell me what, this team of course the backcourt isn't nearly as dominant as it was back in 2015, 2016 with Tyler Ulis and Jamal Murray, but it honestly reminds me a little bit of the 2015, 2016 team where, we have some dominant guards and of course UK lost to Indiana in the round of 32 that year, but at worst, I feel like UK will make it to the round of 32. At best, right now, this is my prediction would be probably the Sweet 16. But of course, we'll talk about that once, we get past the SEC tournament selection Sunday happens and then UK gets their seeding and, we'll find out where UK is seeded and who they will be playing against.
Yeah, so that is interesting because I've seen somewhere where like a six seed all the way up to like I've seen it since like an 11. I feel like
Yeah,
um if we're an 11, then I'm starting to be like or like if you're an 11 or a
yeah,
10 or a 9, then like there's a chance you're an underdog in that first game. And like yes, I think we can bare minimum make the round of 32, but like
yeah,
once you're at that point and the committee can kind of do whatever they want and place you against a maybe a pretty solid team just to get some ratings there.
yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen, but who knows?
yeah,
I do think as of right now, I would say Sweet 16 just because like
yeah,
they figured it out a little bit. I know that the three-game skid and then this gross basketball game at South Carolina
yeah,
happened. So
mhm,
it's not the most optimistic time as a fan base, but
yeah,
I mean they have turned it around. Like it
yeah,
could have been an absolute mail-in season and
mhm,
been a completely collapse, but these guys have not allowed that, and they've been playing
yeah,
with some heart. And
mhm,
I mean, yeah, we'll see how this regular season ends, but I do
yeah.
feel pretty good about saying Sweet 16 right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, at worst, I feel like round of 32, but hopefully, better than that because we all had, high hopes. I had Final Four prediction to begin the year.
Yeah, I want to say I said just like national championship. I might have just said Final Four.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Final Four was like
Hmm.
where we were supposed to be, and then
Yeah.
now things have shifted. But
Yeah.
I think you can kind of salvage some things here if you can just win a couple, and then
Yeah.
figure out something after that about what next year's roster looks like.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with you on that. And, like before we, talk a little bit more about South Carolina and Vandy, but we all had our worries though was with the 3-point shooting like this year. UK didn't really have the 3-point shooting team as we did last year. Of course, we all thought, Trent Noah would step up, Colin Chandler as well. Otegoe might improve his 3-point shooting. Jasper Johnson was supposed to be one of the best 3-point shooters on the team, but sadly he isn't. Like we all thought, UK would struggle from the 3-point line, but not nearly as bad as they are currently doing.
Yeah, I mean, going 28% at South Carolina as a team
Yeah.
is rough, but I mean, they're still getting them up in some games. Like
Yeah.
some games that just doesn't really happen where they get a bunch of shots up, but getting up 25 as a team that doesn't really hit them very well,
Yeah.
it's tough. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, we've got a couple of them that I trust to hit it, whether it's DA or Colin.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't really trust
Yeah.
any of these guys
Yeah.
necessarily behind the line.
Yeah, for sure. And just talking a little bit about the 3-point shooting, I hope Trent Noah can figure it out. Like it felt like last year he was so confident in his 3-point shooting, and I just feel bad for him because like he went 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. He also had one good thing is he had 5 rebounds as well. I mean, he was able to get rebounds, and that's what he did last year. Like he was able to rebound and also make shots, but right now his shot isn't falling, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'd really like to see him figure it out offensively because that's the one thing that we need. And I mean, he's had in the Auburn game and in this one very, 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 very good looks, and
Hmm.
they haven't fallen.
Yeah,
The Auburn game was very similar. I mean, they're getting looks, but credit to him. He could kind of be a downer and not be the hustle guy. Like the rebounds he gets, he has to work for big time. And he continues to impact the game without having to go score the ball a bunch
yeah,
and do all that. So,
hmm,
yeah, credit to him. You mentioned 5 rebounds. He's had some games where he's had a lot of rebounds, not many points or whatever, but he's on a pretty bad run scoring the ball
yeah,
since the new year. I think like he's only scored like 3 buckets or something
yeah.
since like 2026 started. It's been rough.
Crazy.
But like you said, I'd love to see him get it figured out. Like
Yeah.
I love the kid. Hope he ends up working out here, but not going great so far.
Yeah, for sure. But I do believe we will have one Trent Noah game, whether it be the SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament. I just feel like he's going to come off the bench and just be on fire from the 3-point line, whether he makes 3, 4, 5 threes. Like I just have some confidence in him because we all saw what he did last year during the limited minutes he had just to be able to make threes. But I do think we might see a Trent Noah game where he doesn't score a lot, but if he hits 3 or 4 threes, that's 9 or 12 points right there.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. That
Yeah,
would be incredible if you could call the shot on the Trent Noah game. But
yeah,
yeah, well, I mean, it would be huge because that opens
yeah,
so much up for this team offensively for everybody else
yeah,
around him. So I would love that. I'd be sitting there standing up, cheering, and texting you about it, saying you called it. But
yeah,
yeah, hopefully that does come soon.
yeah, for sure. But do you have anything else you want to talk about the South Carolina game? I do want to mention one other thing, of course, the GM position for Kentucky before we talk about Vandy, though.
Um, well, I'll say I'll just put it this way because we mentioned it like this before. We started filming. It was a basketball game that
Yeah.
happened, and of all the basketball games ever, it was certainly one of them, and we won it and scored more points than the other
Yeah.
guys. That's all that matters. That
Yeah.
we scored more points and ended the losing streak. That's really all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, UK didn't start off hot like they have been doing since, Mark Pope has been the head coach, sadly, where, UK just doesn't start out great during games. And, like UK had to figure it out. They came back after being down and, won the game. Like you said, it was just a basketball game, sloppy, ugly, but UK got the win.
Yeah, it was certainly a basketball game. Well, you can put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah, for sure. But real quick, I just want to talk about the GM position at UK real quick, and then we can talk to Vandy. But it just amazes me that every time, the GM position gets brought up to Mark Pope, like it sounds like he just doesn't want to hire one. He said during his radio show on Wednesday, he said it's something we are having conversations about on a weekly basis. It has been an ongoing conversation. And then on Thursday, whenever he was asked by, I believe it was Jack Pilgrim of KSR, but he said this jokingly. He said, What I'm looking for is the guy who can give me all the best players for $0. We are having a lot of conversations. I've had several former teammates say that's exactly what they can do. I don't know if I trust them, but it's part of the process. And it just amazes me. I just feel like, football, they have two GMs, like they have a lead GM and then an assistant GM. Like I feel like Mark Pope, this could be me reading into it and everything. I just feel like Mark Pope, he wants to do everything he can by himself, like go out and figure out who he's scouting for next year's team from the transfer portal or whatever it might be. I just feel like I don't feel like Mitch Barnhart or JMI is holding him back. I feel like Mark Pope is holding himself back from hiring this position. And like I said, this is my opinion. Like you all don't have to believe me, but those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I will say so. The one team that if you try to like look it up and say what major college basketball teams do not have a GM, one that pops up is Oregon. It says Dana Altman does not want to hire a general manager. He looks to just have five full-time assistants, whatever. Yeah, and you ask how the Oregon Ducks are doing. 11 and 17, 14th in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. So if you're doing anything close to what they're doing, you're not in a good spot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I completely agree. We talked about this in the last episode kind of extensively, but I don't know what his deal is with why he won't. Like it feels like everything within the game of basketball is modernized, but this he's stuck before the times. Like
Yeah.
like he's just this is a ball coaching staff. This is not what they're supposed to do. Like I just don't understand how you can't look at what Duke is doing, where they
Yeah.
are pulling in number one class or number one class or number one
Yeah.
class. And if it's not number one, it's maybe two or three. It's right there. And they have the best freshmen in the country year after
Yeah.
year after year after year. And look at what they did. They went and hired somebody from Nike that's not even affiliated with the sport.
Yeah.
Like maybe they were involved with the sport at one point, but they are a business person and they understand what the market is. How do you look at that and say, like, I don't want that? No, I'm not a fan of that. Like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be one of the best programs in the country. Like he said, numerous times. I'm here. I understand the assignment. We're here to win banners.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything if you're going to keep this mindset. I don't understand where this mindset comes from. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
do.
it never will. And I'm curious because like we mentioned this. I don't know what the heck we're going to do about a roster if we don't have a GM. Like we're
Yeah.
we're not getting anybody if this is how like
And just kind of overspend
yeah, like last year went horrible in the portal. You missed on everybody that was good. Like,
at the
yes, I
beginning.
love some of these guys. I love some of them, but like, we were supposed to get hyped up about Jalen Well, and maybe that was going to work out. Maybe if he played, it was going to be like, but he was the 10th point guard. That's not Kentucky. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of it was. Like the whole portal. I don't even know where all our guys ended up being ranked in the end, but it was a full whiff
Yeah.
all throughout the portal. And then
Yeah.
he's obviously, I cut him slack, not getting Liam McNeely right away. You know what? You just got the job. I don't care. Then you go another year and you miss on all of them. And then
Yeah.
now you're in basically a third try at it.
Yeah.
And you haven't landed a single one with two of them having ties to the state. It's just
Yeah.
unbelievable. I don't know how this is happening.
Yeah. It's definitely a disappointment. I feel like that's an all-time rant from you just now.
Yeah, it might be, honestly. Yeah. I mean, it's so annoying because it's
Yeah.
like we all want him to succeed so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
But he just will he's so stubborn to it. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, you could tell in the press conference, like nobody finds it funny. Like we're all
No.
genuinely worried about our program. This program matters
Yeah.
so much to people and it matters so much to this state. And we are a laughing stock right
No.
now in
Yeah.
college basketball. People look at you will see it a billion times in the offseason. You see it weekly, 22 million, 22 million, 22 million.
Yeah.
And then you have I mean, speaking of it, I mean, ironically, we played them tomorrow as we're filming this. We have like some of our most iconic clips that have surfaced the common internet has been OA just stepping out of bounds at Vanderbilt. Like that's what our program has looked like this year.
Yeah.
We've got to get as far away from that as possible, and it's just we're just in like some stubborn mindset right now, and I don't know, I don't understand. Like you would think that Pope, with how much he seems to appreciate the job, you would
Hmm.
think he would do all that he can to give everything a chance at taking a step forward and being very very modern with it. And I don't know if this is actually the case. I just heard shout out to KSR. I heard Drew Franklin say that he thinks that maybe he takes too much input from Rick Pitino, and Rick Pitino fired his GM, and
Yeah.
maybe that's why he's worried about it. Well, my immediate thought was exactly what I think they retaliated on there was like, Rick Pitino's done a whole lot of winning. He's one of the greatest coaches in the
Yep.
history of the sport. Like, he's still going to be fine whether he has a GM or not.
Yeah.
You are very new to it still. Like,
Yep.
you are in year two at a major program. This is not okay. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, Coach
Hmm.
P is one of the biggest brands himself in the entire country. Mark Pope has to have a GM.
Yeah,
That's just
for
that.
sure.
That's the end of story.
Yeah, and like you were saying, Rick Pitino has won so many games, but could you imagine if UK actually spent the $22 million on, like we've mentioned before, Donovan Dent, Lamar Wilkerson, Yoxel Lindeberg, like you could have spent probably 3 or 4 million on, all three of those players. That would have been like 9 to 12 million. You would still have had, trying to do some math, 10 to 13 million still to spend because, the rumor number is UK spent $22 million on this year's roster. And of course, Kyle Tucker even tweeted it out, and so many people have been coming after him. But he was saying that UK spent $22 million on basically a lot of six men on this year's roster, like Mo Diabate, six man, Denzel Aberdeen, six man. Jalen Lowe was the star point guard at Pitt, but that was at Pitt, But I just find it interesting, UK spent so much money on this year's roster on as Kyle Tucker or anybody has said on six men, and I just feel like UK needs a GM to just prioritize on how much UK should spend on a certain player, and if they are worth that price, and they should be a starter or a bench player coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of it. Is like, I mean, it's rare that other fan bases kind of like can point out something that could possibly go wrong about this, and like where they're just because oftentimes it's just that they're hating. Like, people
Yeah,
hate Kentucky, we get that, but people were correct. Like, it was Jaden Quaintance, and then you had, like you mentioned, Jalen Lowe, starter. Cam Williams was a starter in the G5. Denzel
yeah,
Aberdeen was six man. Mo Diabate six man. Um, I mean, yeah,
yeah.
like just who you brought in, I just don't understand.
Hmm.
Um, and like you said, we went after the top guys,
Yeah,
and you don't land any.
yeah,
Like we went after all of the top guys in the portal. We went after the number one, the number four, the number seven, the number 10 we ended up getting because it's Quaintance, but like number
yeah,
13, Silas Demery, Denon Thomas, number 15. Like, unfortunately, he got hurt, but like we went after all these guys and didn't win a
yeah,
single one of them. That's a
yeah,
problem. That cannot happen
yeah,
again. Or his tenure at Kentucky could unfortunately be run short. So I don't see why he would want to, like, maybe he's oblivious to it and doesn't think that there's a chance of that happening. But like
yeah,
his Kentucky like era, all like it depends on what you do with this portal. You
yep.
kind of need as much help as you can because it
Yeah.
hasn't necessarily worked in the past.
Yeah, for sure. And just talking a little bit more about, Mark Pope and the GM and everything is, I had an old tweet. This was back in October of 2025. So, just 4 months ago. But I tweeted out saying Kentucky has now hosted or scheduled visits with 17 of the top 63 players in the class. And it included, the number one overall recruit with Tyron Stokes and also the number two overall recruit with Jordan Smith Jr. And my thing is, how do you not land one single recruit from the 17 of the 63 top recruits that you had visits or scheduled visits with? Like, I get it if you don't get like five of them, but I expect you to land at least maybe two or three from the visits that you have scheduled, or like players that have already visited.
Yeah, I mean the one thing that Kentucky and Duke have in common is if you offer, the hat's on the table already.
Yeah.
Like that's what I've always said. If you are in Kentucky, your hat's on the table automatically. You are in a top five without having to even talk to the
Mhm.
human. Just say that you
Yeah.
offered them. That's it.
Yep.
And then, like you tweeted about like they want to visit. You've got a legit shot. You get these dudes on campus, and I know they're not all going to commit, but like
Yeah.
you get them on campus and you get to show them around, teach them like what this is about, and then you can't get it done like with
Yeah.
any of them. Like that comes down to the recruiting, the signing of the papers, and
Yeah.
locking these dudes down. Like whenever it comes to kind of the end of things, because that's where just what it feels like. I don't know this. I'm not behind the scenes or anything. I'm not a fly on the wall, but it feels like we're getting these dudes on campus and they end up liking Pope. He's an easy dude to like.
Yeah.
They like Pope, like the staff, all this stuff. They seem like great dudes. And then they leave campus and they're like, all right, well, Kentucky offered me this. And they'll go
Yeah.
to a different school and they'll be like, oh, well, we can match that easy.
Yeah.
And then
Easily.
they might go back to UK and be like, well, they're offering this, and they'll be like,
Mhm.
no, no, no. It's Kentucky. We're not upping that at all.
Yeah.
Like we've said it so many times on here, pay whatever it takes to land a guy and
Yep.
then let them learn why this place is special. Like you,
Yep.
you can't just try to win them over with how special it is.
Yep.
That's the
That's
pre
the old
NIL
school.
era.
Yeah. Old school.
Yeah, that's not how it goes,
Yeah.
man.
And I just find it crazy because basically UK had two recruits, under wraps with Tyron Stokes and then Christian Collins. Of course, both players, like everybody was saying that UK would land one of the two, whether it be Stokes or Collins, and everybody was fine with it. Like everybody was saying, hey, if we get one of the two recruits, I'll take him because that's a 5-star. Like Tyron Stokes, of course, is from Kentucky, closer to Louisville than anything, but he's been out in California, and of course now Seattle, Washington, basically for majority of his life. But everybody was fine with UK either landing Stokes or Collins, but sadly that probably won't happen. And of course, right now for Tyron Stokes, Joe Tipton had a tweet out or an article out this week saying that basically Kentucky is Tyron Stokes' second option, which is sad because Stokes is from Kentucky. He also has that Nike deal, and also Jacob Polacek posted today basically saying that Nike is going to do anything and everything to get him to a Nike school, whether it be Kentucky, Oregon, Arkansas, whatever school it might be. But basically, Nike is trying to help whatever Nike school or Nike is helping their Nike schools to try to land Tyron Stokes in. Maybe that'll help out Kentucky. We'll see if it does or doesn't, but hopefully he doesn't land at Kansas. Like, I'd rather him land at Kansas, though, than Arkansas, in my opinion, though.
Yeah, I would definitely rather see that happen. And I mean, even Oregon, like it
Oregon.
wouldn't
Yeah.
affect us at all. But yeah, that's what blows my mind even more. Like the whole TK thing, like that one, I
Yeah.
don't really blame him at all. It's just like
Adidas.
it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's with Adidas. He's going to go to Adidas school, but this one, it's just like he's a Nike kid. He's from the
Hmm.
state. He's loved the campus. He's like he's visited. He's like I don't understand.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea how you can miss these guys.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. But hopefully, maybe it ends up working out. I know there was the thing that came out about like us kind of being like the backup option or
Yeah.
whatever. It wasn't from word of mouth from Stokes, but
Yeah.
like Kentucky's the backup option. I don't really care at this point. If you're
Yep.
the backup option, whatever. I don't care. You get the. We don't even know who's going to be on our team next year.
Yep.
So if you can say like, all right, well we're the backup option for this 5-star. Oh well, I don't care if it ends up working out that way as
Yeah.
long as it works out.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you on that. And of course, I think everybody agrees that, UK should try and keep three players on their roster with Colin Chandler, and then of course, who I'm blanking on the others, but Colin
Cam Williams, Malachi
Chandler,
Marino.
yeah, and Malachi Marino, and then of course maybe Braden Hawthorne as well, but nobody knows, what Hawthorne is like because he hasn't played all year. But at least every UK fans, I feel like they want to keep at least three or four players on this year's team, and then just kick everybody else out. Like of course Oteo away and Denzel Aberdeen, they are out of eligibility, so they're going to the NBA draft, but all the other players that will probably, maybe potentially transfer out.
Yeah, it's going to be. I feel like just what it feels like, it's going to be just a complete overhaul, and we'll
Yeah.
just end up having to replace like an entire team, which isn't great. That hasn't
Yep.
really ever worked in the portal era where you just build your entire team off of that. But who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked about it numerous times. Like Pope's got the X's and O's. If
Yeah.
he could just get the right roster for how he coaches, then like I don't really care what the talent level is.
Hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, a lot weighs on this upcoming portal.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, it's a make or break year for Kentucky probably next year under Mark Pope. And it just stinks because you never want to see a fully revamped roster in a make or break year too.
Yeah. That's the worst case scenario. It feels like. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just like yeah, going into like a make or break hot seat year. Yeah, if you have a fully new built roster that doesn't even really know each other,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, but do you have anything else you want to add about, the GM position for UK? And then we can talk a little bit about Vandy, and then maybe we can talk about other stuff with like Kentucky football, Seneca Driver, of course, like I said, losing tonight against Danville Christian, Kentucky Target, but we can talk a little bit about that. Miami of Ohio staying undefeated as well.
The only one whenever we were talking about names the other day about who we were like would consider for like personally as a GM,
Hmm.
um, the name that popped up the other day was Evan Daniels. I think that was the right one that they had mentioned that could end up being one.
Hmm.
I don't really know, but it looks like he's kind of a guy that understands the business side of sports.
Yeah.
I don't really care, as long as he can help you get to the closing table on these recruits. That's all. That's all that I care about.
Yeah, he has a huge following. He has over 89,000 followers on Twitter, and he also worked at 24/7 Sports and also the podcast with FS1. So,
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I don't really know. I don't know anything about the guy.
yeah, neither
Just gonna
do
be
I.
completely honest, but yeah, I don't know. Apparently, he's been around the game,
Yeah,
and yeah, agent for college and NBA basketball coaches and executives at CAA Sports. So
yeah,
who knows? But we just need somebody. We
yeah,
need somebody to help save the day.
yeah, help save the day, help, make a roster for Mark Pope and the assistants as well.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Somebody's got to help us with it.
Yeah, for sure. But let's start talking about Kentucky versus Vandy. Of course, this is the second match of the year. Last year, UK fell to Vanderbilt at Vandy. Of course, they got their revenge at Rupp Arena later on in the year, and then of course, hopefully, UK does the same thing this year, where UK got blown out against Vandy, 80-55 in Nashville. But hopefully, UK can get their revenge again this year and actually get the win. And I was so surprised that Vegas FanDuel had UK favorites against Vanderbilt. Like I think they are like 1.5, 2.5 point favorites. I couldn't believe that when the odds came out because of course UK got blown out against Vandy in their previous game, 80-55 in Nashville, and of course everybody was hoping UK would win, like put up a fight, and some fans, insiders, thought UK could potentially win against Vandy because I think they won 8 of their last 9 games at that point.
Yeah, that was in the midst of the winning streak. So
Yeah,
we had won five straight before that.
yeah,
And then yeah, so then we go to that one. We were like, oh well, we've kind of turned things around here. Got a
yeah,
chance to go on the road to Vandy. They're without their second leading scorer, and we get absolutely
yeah,
like manhandled,
yeah,
dismantled, abused, like whatever word you can think of.
yeah,
That happened to us in that game. That was as ugly as it gets.
yeah.
But
It
on the
was great.
positive side, we don't have to go to Nashville to play this game, so that's super exciting. Um, like you said, DK, they have the 1.5 line out for the Cats, and I was absolutely stunned. If you would have told
Yeah,
me to pick the line, I would have said Vandy 3.5 or something
yeah,
like Vandy 2.5. I know
yeah.
Rupp is awesome. I love Rupp, but it's not necessarily the most home court type place. I mean, we've lost a couple here
Three
already
games
this
this
year.
year. Three
Yeah, I
games
mean
last year
it's
too.
not the most intimidating thing in the world. So
Yeah,
I would have been like, you know what, Vandy 2.5, 3.5,
yeah,
somewhere around there, and we are somehow the favorite.
yeah.
So I don't know
I was
how.
so surprised.
Um, and they bring back Duke Miles, who they didn't have in the last game, so they're even a better version of Vanderbilt. It feels like.
Yeah,
Um, so who knows? I don't know how the line ended up being that, but I'll take it.
yeah,
And hopefully it ends up working out. And hopefully we're able to win and cover. We'll talk about our predictions a little later on, but
yeah.
big opportunity, big chance to get a lick back on them.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big opportunity. And of course, like I said, UK got blown out against them. But, like both Tylers for Vandy, they stood out. They both had 19 points. Tyler Tanner, 19 points. Tyler Nickel also had 19 points. And that was one of the reasons why, UK lost to Vandy. Of course, Devin McLaughlin also had 11 points. And Chandler Bing also had 11 points. So, basically, 4 players for Vandy had over double digit scoring, and basically if that happens, you're probably going to lose a lot of the games if your opponent has 4 players scoring in double digits.
Yeah, the kid Tyler Tanner, man, he's unbelievable. And we got to see it firsthand. I mean, it wasn't incredibly efficient, but it was a guy. I mean, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals.
Yeah,
Like what in the world? He just plays like he's just got an engine that never stops. He's just got an absolute motor to him. Um, and I mean, he's fun to watch. He's not a big kid, but he's from Nashville area,
Hmm.
and he plays like it. So, yeah, he's incredible. Tyler Nickel gets on a lot of people's a lot of fans' nerves. Gets on a lot of people's nerves.
Yeah.
For good reason, but he's also a good player. Like it's just he's one of those dudes who just kind of sucks that the bad guy ends up being actually pretty good at the sport sometimes. And yeah, he killed us in the last
Yeah.
one as well. So
Yeah.
they're strong. I mean, they don't have the best front court in the world. That's why I had
Yo.
optimism that we'd go down there and end up beating them, but
Yeah.
we didn't even come close.
Mhm.
And McLaughlin's kind of just the
Yeah.
one that you got to worry about because you mentioned 12 rebounds against us. That's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
They have the Jalen Washington kid too. So
Yep.
I don't know how it's going to go, but this has to be a Malachi or Mo or like one of these guys' game because somebody's got to show up front court
Yeah.
wise and take it personally that you got kind of owned
Yep.
in Nashville the last time we
Yeah.
played against them.
Yeah, for sure. And you also mentioned earlier that Duke Miles didn't play for Vandy, and he'll be playing for Vandy against UK. So you'll have to definitely stop Duke Miles. He's the second leading scorer for Vandy. He's averaging just a little bit over 16 points per game, along with 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and also 3 steals. But man, like you add another scorer for Vandy, of course, maybe one of the Tyler players, they score a little bit less, but then you have Duke Miles who will step up. Like you're just going to have to stop the guard play against Vandy because, any of them will be able to step up, whether it be Nickel, Tanner, or Miles.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Duke Miles is an absolute stud, and yeah, I know a lot about him honestly because I drafted him in college basketball fantasy, so I've been along for the ride. Um, But yeah, he's a good player. Like and
Yeah.
obviously, like you said, he didn't play last time, but he's a stud. He's a great guard for him. He can kind of control it. So he's a great counterpart to Tyler Tanner. I know that. Like
Yeah.
he during their like insane start, he was a big reason for it.
Yeah.
And he's had to miss some games here recently, so I don't know if that's going to affect him.
Hmm.
I think his first game back was the one they just played at where'd they play at? Hold on. Um, I think they just played on a road. Yeah, okay. I think at Missouri might have been his first. He played in the Tennessee
Georgia.
game. Yes, okay. So he played against Georgia. He played against Tennessee. I don't know if he played against Missouri.
It doesn't look
But
like.
okay. So he played in the last couple. So he's got a couple games under his feet and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, he'll be ready to come out firing. And we always talk about interrupt arena.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be his last go around, last chance to play in
Mhm.
rough. So, I'm sure he'll have a great
Yeah.
game, unfortunately. But
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, well, he's gonna be another guy to worry
Yeah.
about big time.
Yeah, and just looking a little bit on their roster, I just can't believe they have 4 players scoring over double digits. Like I said, we mentioned Tanner before. He's averaging 18.5 points per game. Duke Miles, 16.3. Tyler Nickel with 14.1. And then, of course, Devin McLaughlin, he also has 10.5 points per game. And then there's another player that is close to averaging double digit points with AK Okere. And he
Oh,
has
Karaki.
Oh, Cherokee. Yeah, he also has 9.4 points per game. So Vandy is loaded. They have a lot of different scoring options, and you just have to slow down their offense and for UK's sake to get this win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, averaging 87.3 a game is
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. And they've got some dudes that can fill it
Hmm.
up with Tyler Nickel. It feels like he's just destined to have 3 or 4 threes fall tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've got a few of them that I mean, 37% from Tyler Tanner, 42% from
Yeah.
Tyler Nickel, 39% from AK Okereke. Like
Yeah.
they're going to be fine with
Yeah.
shooting. And that's a tough part, but they also have guards that can beat you off the dribble.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be one of those games that
Yeah.
um, you're going to need breathers, but we don't really have the
Yeah.
guys to give breathers. So I'm kind of curious how it's going to go.
Mhm.
It feels like one we got to kind of punch them in the mouth early and
Yeah.
and get straight to work because
Yeah.
it's not going to be easy. It's a good squad over there.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy. I just find it crazy that Tennessee was able to defeat them at Nashville too. Like, how was, UK able to defeat Tennessee twice during the season, at away and then at home as well, but then UK gets blown out against Vandy away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Tennessee, all the Tennessee fans were throwing the V's down in
Yeah,
that game. They were getting hype. I actually had a buddy at that game too. He was at a great basketball game. Tennessee, I don't know if you've seen. I know we're not talking about Tennessee. Have you seen the like pattern that they have of where they can't win when they're ranked, but they can win when they're unranked?
I have not seen that
It,
pattern.
it's like wild. When they get ranked, they lose, and then they're unranked, and they'll just start winning games.
That's
Like
great.
it's just a wild pattern that they have. Um, like they literally, I think they won. I think Mississippi State, LSU didn't get ranked. Won Oklahoma, Vandy got ranked. Went to Missouri, lost immediately.
Yeah,
I think that was like it's wild. They can't be ranked, and
yeah,
then they're the best team in the world.
yeah. So
It's
hey,
it's very very random.
hey, if you're Tennessee, I guess it's better to be unranked than ranked at this time to get wins.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess just stay 26th, and then you'll just end up being like a 3 seed or something somehow.
Yeah, a 3 seed, yeah. But yeah, like I said, it'll be an interesting matchup, and I feel like for UK to definitely win this game, they will have to, make sure Vandy doesn't score more than 80 points. I feel like if UK allows Vandy to score 79 points or less, they have a fighting chance. But as soon as I feel like Vandy hits 80, like the game's over.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Um, I will say for them too, like obviously it doesn't really matter a whole lot for us, um, unless we were to just like win out and some other crazy things happen. But they're only one game back from Tennessee, and they still have a chance to play Tennessee again. So really for SEC seeding and stuff, this one's a really really big one for them.
Yeah.
So I mean they're going to come in firing on all cylinders, not only just because it's Kentucky on the other side, but for bigger reasons too with SEC play coming up.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, just mentioning before, just, gotta get that win. I feel like for UK, like this is a big game. Like if you win this game, you know, you get back-to-back wins, get up to, 19 wins on the season. Like I said, I feel confident if you get to 20 wins in the regular season in the SEC, you should be ranked probably like I know the SEC was the hardest conference last year, but I feel like if you get to 20 wins before the regular season ends, I mean, I feel like we're at least going to be a 7 seed. Like, just be able to win 2 more games uh, to finish out the regular season, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, we talked about or I'd asked the question about like what do you think we finish in these last four? And I
Uh-huh.
said I think we go 3-1. And I don't really know what the one is.
Yeah.
For this team, knowing how it's gone so far, we could like roll Vandy,
Yeah.
get exposed crazy at A&M, and then just come back and beat Florida in a close one
Yeah.
or something. Now, it would make no sense, but that's exactly what makes sense for this
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
said
really know.
I said 2-2. I know.
Yeah, yeah, you said 2-2. Yeah, I don't really know. How it's going to go.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I mean, yeah, Vandy's the five right now. Yeah, one game out from the double bye. So
Yeah.
I was trying to find where the bracket was,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know how these last few are going to go, but I do agree with you on the whole 20 wins argument because that one just feels right and it feels like that gets you a pretty decent seed. So we'll see how it ends up.
Yeah, and of course, we all want to win more than 20 games. I know last year, I think we went 20 and 11 on the year in the regular season. I'm pretty
I
sure.
think it was 21-10. Let me see.
Yeah, go look for me real quick. We need a producer. Everybody's like, if y'all want to be producers to do some research for us for our show, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Ye- well, now I can't even. I think we went 21-12 because then we won one SEC, two in the tournament. Yeah, so we were 21 and 10. So we finished 24-12. So then like obviously the one loss in the tournament, one loss in the SEC tournament. So yeah, 21-10 was our record last year.
yeah. And like I said, we all want to get more than 20 wins. Of course, I was predicting 24-7 to begin the year. Of course, that didn't happen, sadly.
I don't even remember. Mine was like 27-4 or something crazy. It
Yeah,
was it was wild.
something crazy like that. Yeah. And see,
Yeah, it was a lot of wins to very few losses, and I was wrong very quick.
yeah, it was 21-10. You were right. So, like, could you imagine though, like Mark Pope might have a worse record compared to his first year at UK, and he had less time to get a roster and staff. That's crazy to think about.
And he played in the hardest conference in the history of the sport last year and
Yeah,
had more wins.
yeah, just
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, just crazy to think about. But do you have anything else you want to talk about this Vandy game? And then we can get into score predictions and MVP. And then I wouldn't mind talking a little bit maybe about Miami of Ohio and maybe also Seneca Driver for, Kentucky football as a target. And then we can
Um,
wrap the podcast up.
well, this will be coming out the day of the Vandy game, like the morning of. So, I mean, I would say if you're listening to this, it's probably too late. But wear blue and white. Look at your
Yeah, we're
section,
blue and white.
and this is the first time that I can honestly remember. I don't remember the last time we did it. I know we did like a whiteout in like 2003 against Florida.
Yeah,
This is the first time we've done something cool like this in Rupp in a long, long time. So make sure you look it up and wear your correct color for your section. They have it posted on.
yeah,
Basically, find your favorite Kentucky sports media person, and they will have posted about it. Go find your section if you're going to the game and wear
yeah.
your blue and white.
Yeah, I know they did something of recent, not too recently. I can't remember. I feel like it's been within like the past 5 or 6 years, but I think they did something for the Kansas game. I could be like not remembering that correctly, but I feel like they did something maybe
You talking
back,
about the one recently, like the 2022 or something?
maybe 2022. I don't know. Maybe it might
Well,
have
I
been.
was at that game. There was nothing. There was nothing at that one.
Yeah, maybe it was before COVID. Maybe it was like 2019, but I do remember they did something like within like I remember it was during at least the John Calipari era, but I believe it was probably between like 2015 probably through 2019 maybe because he said, that didn't happen like with the
Yeah, I don't know.
community.
I don't know when it was. I'm gonna see if I can do some more research on the air. But I honestly, um, yeah, I do not know. Honestly, yeah, just as like blew out, whiteout games, have been talked about in recent years, but haven't really happened. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know the
might have
last
been like
time.
before COVID, but I do remember they did something at least for John Calipari.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do remember that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while, nonetheless.
Yep, for sure. But let's get into the good old score predictions and MVP. Of course, like you said, wear that blue or wear that white, depending on where you're sitting at for the game. But I'll get into score predictions. So I do think UK will probably lose this game, sadly. Like I just think Vandy will overpower Kentucky with their guard play. I just think they have the more dominant team, and of course, their big men could also overpower Kentucky as well. Because Malachi Marino, like any of our big men could not step up for this as well with their guards. But I do think Vandy wins this game, sadly. I'll say Vandy gets into the 80s. I'll go like 84. And then I'll say, UK will keep it somewhat close, hopefully. But Vandy gets to win 84-76. Vandy, they make some free throws down the stretch to just, make this game an 8 point win for Vandy. And then for MVP, I'll go with Otego away. He'll bounce back from the South Carolina game and have like 20 points and then grab like 7 rebounds and like 2 assists or something crazy like that.
That would be awesome. I know I'm like the sunshine pumper and everything, but I know we're the favorite, but this one doesn't feel like one that like Kentucky's supposed to win, and that's why I
Yeah.
think we win it because that's what this team has done all year. I think Kentucky comes out in a close one and wins. I'll go 74-72. So the betters of this game are going to be ticked either way, whether they took the over or under. It's going to be like right there till the end.
Yeah.
You're going to be sweating it out the whole time. 74-72 Kentucky, and my MVP will be Colin Chandler. I think he just
Yeah.
nails probably 4 threes, 5 threes, something crazy. Gets the place rocking and just does enough for us to be able to get over the hump. Maybe he has a clutch play late too that kind of gets us over. Maybe he gets to the line
Yeah.
tied there or something and hits a couple free throws, and that's why we win the game. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But Colin Chandler's my MVP in a close Kentucky dub.
Yeah, like you said, he comes up clutch, whether he makes some free throws or makes a three like he's been doing towards the tail end of games. But man, like if you're right, everybody's going to have a heart attack because of how close that game is.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's going to be upset about it, but Captain Clutch will save the day and he'll
Yeah,
get the
Cap,
Kentucky spread.
yeah, for sure. And like I said, hopefully I'm wrong, but like I said, I feel like if UK wants to win this game, they have to make sure Vandy doesn't score more than 80. Like Vandy can't score 79 or fewer or less. and then I feel like UK has a chance. But I feel like as soon as it gets in the 80s, like it's game over.
Honestly, I could see that being the case with the 80s, but I would say I think Kentucky wins this game if they win the rebound battle. We lost the rebound battle by 6 last time.
Yeah,
And obviously last time nothing was going. It was just an all systems failure night. But I think shots are going to be falling kind of regularly in this one. We're going to be back home, comfortable.
yeah,
So if you can win the rebounding battle, I think, and this is a game that you should.
yep.
I think that could kind of be the difference between winning and a loss. But it would be so the 25-26 Kentucky basketball team to get beat
Yeah.
by 25 and then beat the same team a few weeks later.
Yeah, that would be insane if they can pull off this win.
Yeah, it would be very much this team, the unpredictables.
Yeah, that's unpredictable. And of course, hopefully Ken Williams does come back for Kentucky soon. Mark Pope did say that, he could potentially come back, but it wouldn't be later on into the season, like maybe like the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight round for him.
Yeah, I really hope he can come back. I do just get kind of worried about like how quickly you rush him in, but at this point, I mean, as bad as it has gotten and as like bad as I feel saying it, like I think I would take a maybe slightly out of shape Cam Williams over what we've seen from some of
Yeah,
these other guys that have come in
yeah, me,
as
me
of
too.
recently. So I don't know. I mean, I hate to say that, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the truth.
Yep, I hear you. I agree with you completely. But two other things I want to mention quickly, and then we can wrap up the podcast. But congrats to Miami of Ohio. They remain undefeated after Trey Perry scored the game-winning layup against Western Michigan. It was a crazy game, but Miami of Ohio, they are now 29-0 on the season. At the time of the recording, they are ranked number 21, but of course they're going to move up in the rankings probably come Monday. But, it's insane that, Miami of Ohio is 29-0, and the last time, a team that was undefeated this part of the year was the 2014-2015 Cats. UK, of course, finished the season 31-0, and of course, lost to Wisconsin in the Final Four with being 38-1.
Wait, actually, wasn't it Gonzaga? Weren't they the most recent team to get this far?
Really?
2020, 2021?
2020, 2021?
Yeah. Didn't they get to like 33-0 or something?
I don't know. I would have to look into it. Let's see.
Hold
They
on.
achieved a perfect 26-0 regular season. So,
So they got to 31-0 before losing in the championship.
yeah,
So yeah, it was obviously shortened because of COVID, but they
yeah.
did get pretty far.
They got to,
Um,
I think they were, it says from Google that they were 31-0 before losing to Baylor, finishing
yeah,
31.
which I will say at that time I have completely shifted from it, which is kind of odd now that Kentucky started to play them. I've shifted from being a massive Gonzaga hater. I used to be at this time that was like last year Houston over Duke was my most successful hate watch for
Watch,
a game
yeah,
that Kentucky was not in. My second best one ever is Baylor over Gonzaga in that game
yeah,
because Baylor, they
31.
were yes, Baylor was oh man, thank you Alvin Brooks. Alvin Brooks is a big part of that.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I'm so glad they did not go undefeated that year, but
Yeah,
nonetheless though, yeah, Miami Ohio, credit to them,
yeah. They
still
figured
winning
out ways
games
to
and.
win.
We've talked about it, and actually, I want to mention this about tonight too, because I didn't get to watch this game. I was busy, but I was keeping up with it, seeing the score. I was like, oh shoot, they're down. I was keeping an eye on it. Travis Steele lost his mind at halftime
Yeah,
and,
he
and
did.
just ran over the speaker and shoved the speaker over. It was crazy.
Yep,
But you got to love that out of a coach. Get a
yeah.
little fiery there.
Yep, for sure. And then if y'all don't know about Travis Steele, he was coaching at Xavier before he ended up going to Miami of Ohio. I believe he got fired from Xavier, but I do believe he's going to, get a big time job this offseason, wherever he lands. Like I could see him, going to UC after they fired Wes Miller, or I could see him, going to a lower tier school in the SEC like LSU after Matt McMahon gets fired.
Honestly, I didn't even realize. I do want, um, I want Cincy to hire Jared Calhoun if they fire Wes Miller. That's
There
the
you go.
one. Yes, because I think he's from Cincy. Maybe he went to Cincy. Um, but he's like one of the best mid-major coaches in the country right now. He's at Utah State.
Uh-huh.
He's the one that I want because I want Cincinnati to be like really good. I would like to see them be a really, really good team.
Yeah.
He's from Cincy, went to Cleveland State, but oh wait, no. He what? I'm so confused. He graduated from Cincinnati,
Yep.
but I
He
don't
got, he got
know.
his bachelor's degree from there, majoring in criminal justice and minoring in communications.
So he played at Cleveland State 01 to 03, and I guess just retired from basketball, and then went to Cincinnati just as a student, and then became a grad assistant for 2 years. Wow. All right, I didn't know all that. I just knew he
Yeah.
had ties to Cincy, so I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
But maybe I didn't know that Travis Steele went to Butler. He could get
Yep.
himself back in the Big East, and maybe Thad Matta retires soon. He's getting up there. I don't know if it's likely that he ends up being
Yeah.
like retired anytime soon. But um, yeah, he's killed it. He's killed it in Miami, Ohio. And I do have
Yeah.
the question. It's been kind of the question looming all year. Do you think Miami, Ohio should miss the tournament or be left out or whatever if they drop one in the conference tournament?
If they only drop one, no, but if they just figure out a way to lose like the rest of their regular season games and then one and gone in their conference tournament, then yes, I feel like they should miss. But if they only lose one game, like they should definitely not miss the NCAA tournament.
So you think if John Gross and the Akron Zips end up beating them in the MAC championship, you think they should still be in, even if
Yeah,
like they go undefeated to that point and they're what are they 33-1 at that point? I guess.
yeah, 33-1 at that point. There's no way that they should miss the NCAA tournament all because they lost one game.
See, I will say I think they're left out, and I think it's literally just because the committee's gonna try to prove a point, and I don't know what happened, and I know it's getting more and more difficult for teams to be able to schedule these, but they absolutely played nobody the entire non-con. They played Trinity, Illinois, Mercyhurst, Arkansas Pine Bluff, IU Southeast, UNC Asheville, Eastern Kentucky, that Milligan, whatever that is. Like some of these teams don't even have logos. I just think that they'll probably leave them out to prove a point of like, hey, you've got to at least play somebody.
Yeah,
Like, I think if they are 28-1 and their one loss is like at Michigan, then I'm like, oh yeah, that team's got to be in right there because they at least like went and battled, and
yeah,
you've at least seen them play a level of competition because the MAC's not great this year. Akron's good,
no,
Kent State's all right. The rest of the MAC's not great. So yeah, I just think they'd probably get left out. I don't really know where I would stand on that. I guess I'd have to see. Like if they lose on like a buzzer beater to
yeah,
Akron, I'll be like, you know what, you got to feel bad for those kids. Like,
yeah,
um, that's a tough spot to be in.
yeah,
But I know because Wally Serbiak in the offseason, Miami, Ohio legend, he said that nobody will play them because now the NCAA tournament and all these teams get graded off of their net, which
yeah,
it values more blowouts versus bad teams than wins like that are close against average teams.
yeah,
So people just schedule no disrespect, but Stonehill. Like
yeah,
we just play like Stonehill instead of Miami, Ohio, because
yep,
a win by 15 isn't as valuable as a win by 45 against Stonehill. So
yep,
I think people will probably try to avoid to schedule these type teams. But
sadly.
I would say if Miami tried enough, they could definitely 1000% schedule some games against different teams. Like
Yep.
Akron played at Purdue.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I guess that's really their only one. But like some of these teams, like they figure out a way to play
Mhm.
somebody at
Yep.
least. Yeah. Also, Kent State played Purdue. Like
Yep.
they got to do one of those. So I think honestly, if they lose at all, they're probably out.
Yeah, I disagree with you on that. I feel like, they're going to get in no matter what. Like, as long as they only have one loss to their resume, granted, if they have two or three, four losses, whatever it might be, then of course they're out. But I feel like if they have one loss, if they do stay undefeated, they're going to get in no matter what. But if they have one
Well,
loss on their resume or
I just know
record,
I've been seeing bracketology shows them as out. It shows
yeah,
MAC as a one bid league. So
yeah,
it says like even if they lose, they're out, which
yeah, which is
I
crazy.
don't know. I guess we'll see. But
Yeah,
um, yeah, I don't know. It's a great story though. It's a
yep,
really, really good story. Also, did you see Seth Davis? He was in the news last week. Did you see
yeah.
his tweet tonight?
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
see it
yeah.
tonight, but I know about the news from last week where he was saying that the
Well,
conference tournaments on Sundays matter.
yeah. All of that was just crazy drama. But tonight he tweeted, Western Kentucky's heave does not go in. Miami, Ohio, 29-0. What a story, what a game or something. And everybody was like, hey man, like glad you tuned in. Miami, Ohio somehow beat Western Kentucky and Western Michigan in the same night, apparently.
Yeah,
everybody's just hating on him
Yep.
because of
I
the
see the tweet
what
now.
he's acted like. But yeah, that's kind of embarrassing. That's
Yep.
embarrassing on Seth's part.
Yeah, instead of good old Western Michigan.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Tops though. Any Western Kentucky timeline bump is okay on my watch.
Yep, I agree with you on that. But one thing I want to mention before the podcast is we don't really talk about football. We'll probably start talking a little bit more about football just because, the spring practice is coming up. But I do want to mention, one of the Kentucky football targets that they have, Seneca Driver. He had an insane poster against Danville Christian Academy. They lost tonight, ending their season, I believe. But like I said, Seneca Driver had a wild poster against them. Boyle County fell 61 to 56, but he's definitely an eye to keep, or he's definitely somebody that you all need to keep an eye out on. I know I've seen people like insiders, like potentially, I think they have predicted him to go to Kentucky. So hopefully that's the case. Of course, his older brother, Brock Driver, is at Eastern Kentucky University right now, but I would love to see, the staff be able to get Driver on the team.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I don't think that shouldn't end their season. I don't think
You don't
unless
think so?
no, because the way Kentucky high school basketball works is like
Yeah.
if you make your district championship, you can go on no matter what, even if you
Uh-huh.
lose it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're losing out. And I'm assuming it would have had to be their district championship because
Yeah,
like
it was their district championship against Danville Christian, I believe.
okay, so that they should be moving on,
Yeah.
but they'll play a road game against probably somebody tough. So
Yeah. Everything.
maybe it ends at that point. But
Yeah. But I would love to get I would love for Will Stein to capitalize and get Seneca Driver on Kentucky's team because four-star in-state guy and also close to Lexington, Boyle County,
yeah, I mean, if you just look at the offer list, because I first heard about him, well, one, it's a name that you just don't forget. Like once you hear it, you hear Seneca Driver, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great name. But then the first thing I'd heard was like, oh, Alabama's going to steal this kid because like Stoops is not going to land a tight end if you look at like
Yeah.
the tight end numbers that we had. So then it was like, oh, Alabama's going to get him, and I was like, dang, there's a kid from Boyle getting out recruited by Alabama. Then you go look at his list, and it's just Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn,
Yeah.
Florida, Indiana now, which that one holds a lot of weight now. Miami, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas A&M,
Yeah. The
Notre
list goes
Dame. The
on
list
and
goes
on.
on and on and on, and it's literally forever long. And you can have a chance to get that kid. And I'll be honest, I don't know what all this means on 24/7, but it says the interest is warm. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's some sort of like a hint or anything of like
It just
things
means
are
the
heating
staff
up.
is prioritizing them.
Well, whatever it means, I would take it as good because everybody else is just cool. So
Yeah.
whatever it is, I'll take it. But he would be the definition of stud. Like
Yeah.
that's the studs that you're supposed to feed if you're Will Stein. So that
Yeah.
would be an awesome pickup.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course right now on three has the RPM prediction at 92%. So that has to be a good sign if you're a Kentucky fan to land them as well.
Yeah, I did not even realize that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty
92.2%.
good.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
I did see I think it was Will Stein. They had gone, I think it was Boyle County Danville uh a few weeks ago, and it was Jason Witten next to Will Stein
yeah.
because Jason Witten's now at Oklahoma as their tight end coach. So yeah, what a wild scene
Yeah.
out there in Boyle County.
It's definitely a wild scene, and like I said, it'll be interesting to see if UK does end up with Seneca Driver. And right now, it's just all points towards Seneca Driver coming to Kentucky, and hopefully that is the case.
And I really hope so. He would
Yeah,
be an absolute splash recruit. And what a way to kind of get it started. I mean, I know that there's been some really good recruits and everything
yep,
that we've already picked up transfer wise and out of high school, but man, this would be
yeah,
up there with the best of them.
yeah. It would probably be, I would say, the best commitment so far in just high school football for Will Stein to be the head coach at Kentucky. Of course, UK, they are going after these 5-star, 4-star quarterbacks. So, of course, like if you land Seneca Driver, that's probably your best commitment from high school rankings, just so far into your early career, to being a head coach at UK. But of course, if UK could end up getting 5-star quarterback Elijah Haven, that would be insane as well. Right now, basically, like the biggest competitor between, for Elijah Haven is either Alabama or Kentucky. And if he doesn't end up going to Alabama and he picks Kentucky, that would just be insane. Like everybody would be saying, like Will Stein can commit, like he can get anybody he wants to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fact that we're like there in that conversation
Yeah,
is absolutely insane. This is the number one quarterback in America, number two national player on 24/7 Sports. So
yeah,
it would be absolutely ridiculous. But I think it was his exact quotes. If it wasn't him, it was another like high 4-star or 5-star or something, where they said like, yeah, Joe Sloan and Will Steiner are two of the best quarterback whisperers and like trainers and everything. Like those are two of the best in the country. So the fact that we've just got that just chilling right there in the 859 is absolutely amazing. It's
yeah.
there's no way you can't be optimistic about what the recruiting at least looks like so far for
Yeah.
this bunch.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, the only reason why I mentioned Seneca Driver is just because he had that insane dunk. If y'all haven't checked it out, y'all can see it on my Twitter. But go check out that crazy poster he had and everything. But do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up the podcast?
Don't think so. Where your blue or white if you go to the
Yeah,
game?
where you're blue and white versus Vandy. Hopefully UK can actually get the win against them this time because, like everybody would love to see a win. And, we don't want to lose another game at Rupp Arena. We've already lost 3 games this year. We lost 3 games last year under Mark Pope. This would be the fourth game. UK would lose at home if this is the case scenario.
Yep. Cannot drop this one. Got to beat Vandy.
Yeah, I gotta beat Vandy for sure. But we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all watching on YouTube and of course listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But this is Chris Beastmore.
And Cameron Waddle.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Go Cats.